I'll take that. We're good.
Who's good? We're paying back.
Lindsay,
Do you think that
Will
was
you give her that money?
then you give me mine.
Okay.
girl?
I didn't know I was
Here you
having
go, Linda. Put it in your pocket.
Did you need a receipt for that?
No.
Can hold me.
Don't forget. I'm putting it in my purse.
Yes, we're just for little bits, okay?
This is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, well, welcome in. Are you guys from out of town? Is that why we scheduled this in advance, or are you guys
Out
local?
of town,
Okay.
but we've lived here.
I should not be carrying my coffee around. My husband just surprised me with it. I was like, well, I don't want it to get
nice.
cold.
Right.
Where do I set it? Okay, so I will start off, if you'll excuse me, I'm having a hot flash and we get my fan.
Okay.
Start off by telling you where we got the name of the house. So we are named after the two couples in this photo. I'm gonna let you guys pass it around since it's a little small. I mean, the photo's big, but the people in it are small. The couple standing up are William and Agnes Moore, and they built this house here in 1899. So it is 126 years old.
Oh, wow.
One of the oldest homes in Norman still standing. Definitely not the first home in Norman.
Oh.
So we had that one recreated about a year ago, I think. And our woodworkers have said they want to do the other two, but they're having some health issues. So we'll see if we get them or not. But we may have to find somebody else. And unfortunately,
This is original?
that is. And that's the only hand carved wood that is built in the house, is that post right there. Everything else we think came from, I don't know who it is, but then they end up here with us. We have this photo here on the organ is Agnes again. This time she's sitting in front of this set of windows. So if I can find the right frame.
Oh,
No,
wow.
that's not it.
Look at all the plants.
Yes, it was. There we go. You can see the wood in the window is still there.
Oh,
So.
that's pretty.
Isn't it gorgeous? It's only a few rooms. I think it's 3 rooms in the house have that, and it's different design in each room. The wood over the windows and doors changes from room to room as well. So, just little details they used to do that they don't anymore.
I know, that's cool.
But almost all the built-in wood in the house is original. The fireplaces, wood, tile, and mirror of both, but not the insert or the hearth on this one. But that tile is something else.
That's original? The tile is?
It is. I know, it looks much more mid-century, I think.
Yeah.
Than, maybe even like Art Deco, 1920s-ish, but 1899, that just does not. I don't know, that tile is too geometric a pattern for me to have guessed that, but it is. We have photos of the house with the fireplace, and we've actually found it in a catalog, so we know it did come from the time period.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
That would have held
No, you can't
coal or kindling, depending on if it was a coal or a wood fire. This was probably a coal fireplace.
Oh.
Mr. Lindsay worked for the coal company.
Could we get that in our vehicle?
You might have to leave somebody behind.
Yeah, you're doing the time.
There are a couple of pieces that I feel that way about, like, if do you think
Oh, well,
anybody
that's just-
notice if they,
That's really
The
beautiful.
rug, is the
I
rug,
love that.
the rug is it original?
It's a reproduction.
Okay.
The rugs, the wallpapers, and the curtains are all in the style of the time, but those things are just hard to, they don't last. They get pretty beat up. Were you admiring the pink vase there? Is that what-
Yeah.
That was an original family piece. So most of the furniture in the house is not original to the family or the house, but that pink vase was.
Oh my God.
What
It's
about the
actually
lamp?
in the photo. No, this lamp was not a family piece, although that one, the red one in there was, that's on top of the china hutch. And then this sofa and chair here were as well. They belong to Daisy's.
Oh,
yeah.
Look, Linda.
Baby for a minute.
Yeah. Looks like
So we
yours.
carry her for you, okay?
Oh, that'll be more comfortable.
I know.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw that in the corner of my eye.
Anything about the dress?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head who it belonged to. Most of the clothing in our collection is not. In fact, I think the only family piece we have is Agnes's wedding dress, which unfortunately is not on display because it's losing beads. Every time you breathe on it, more fall off. So we've had to put it away, unfortunately, till we can find somebody to do some repair work. But There's only one person in the entire state who does that kind of work, and she's a little busy. Excuse me. I've been trying to get a hold of her to do it.
What about putting it
For
in the
like
glass
5
case
years.
or something where we could put?
Yeah, that's a good idea, at least for in between now and then.
Yeah.
So that if they do fall off, they're at least there and contained and not getting smacked up.
What are we doing
We're gonna come this way.
That way?
So I think I have
Around windows.
Sorry, that was the formal parlor. So that was the room for the guests. This is the back parlor, the informal parlor. This was more of a family room.
Okay.
And all the doorways did have doors. We've just taken them off because they swing and ding the walls or hit furniture.
there? Are the pianos original?
From the time period, but not from the home. Yes, this
Oh my
one was
gosh.
this is a square grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's actually a grand piano. The harp, I think it's called, inside is the same. It's just instead of being laid out this way, it's laid out this way. So I'm not a musician. I have no talent for that at all. But
You need those glasses.
But later on, when having two parlors kind of went out of style, this was used as a library for a while. And towards the end of her life, Daisy used this as her bedroom so that she didn't have to take the stairs. And I've been told by one of her great-grandchildren that closet is where she hid all of her illegal liquor, because Oklahoma had prohibition laws until the early 60s. So, and Daisy was not a fan. We do know that. She was not what they call the dry. She gave all of her grandsons a bottle of scotch when they came of age. It was a tradition. They're a Scottish family, so.
Very cool.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was her hiding place there, her
No, you
closet.
cannot touch.
Not a great hiding place, but I guess it was enough.
Where was the closet?
Right there.
This right here.
What's
We
that?
think it was
Oh.
originally the butler's pantry and connected to the kitchen hallway there where the bathroom is, because the bathroom's not original.
Look at there.
You're welcome to open it and look any doors that you like.
Oh.
It's a mess. I will warn you, we use all our storage places and I'm not hiding. Best intentions. And then when you guys are done looking at that, I wanted to point out how good it stay.
Oh, it looks like it might have a basement or something.
It was with their
I wanna go.
great grandchildren. Mostly her great grandchildren. Including the one.
I am trying.
I love it. They're mostly from the 30s and 40s, but it's just a reminder that this was like their family home, you know. Even though most of the children and grandchildren, all that, they didn't live here. They spent a lot of their time here. Apparently they came and stayed with Daisy during the summers and things like that. So this was like home base, I guess, for the
The
family.
grandkids came to stay with Grandma.
Yes, there's height markings of the kids on the window.
Oh my God, how cool.
Yes. I think it's my favorite thing in the house, although I'll probably tell you that about
right
different things today.
Bill, Bob,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see him. There.
Bob.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Bill, right here. Here's Bill.
I know without a light to shine
Oh,
on
okay, I
it, it's
can
hard
see
to
that now.
see. I need to put a little flashlight in that window where I can grab it and shine it on there.
That's crazy.
What's her name? Rachel Bender?
We think that most, if not all of the first floor light fixtures are either the original gas lights that they then wired for electricity, or the fixtures that they put in when they put in the electric wiring in 1901. Was when they got electric lights, just the first floor, most likely. Most people didn't put electricity upstairs, it was too scary to be in their bedrooms. They were sleeping.
What's her name?
126. 1890.
Lulu
They finished it in December, like right before the new century.
and Big Baby. Lulu, Big Baby.
Let's see, this table here was also Mrs. Lindsay's, so another family piece there. All right, as we come through here, the bathroom that'll be on your left is, well, two things. It is our working bathroom, but it also is the only remaining bathroom in the house. There was no indoor bathroom when it was first built. We think they put this in around 1908. And I think that closet, like I said, had originally connected to this
Mom,
little
get over here.
hallway.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
One of those in a long time.
You're welcome to pick it up.
Simone,
and look
come
at
here.
it if you like. The letters.
We're gonna
My
go with
grandparents.
Simone.
next.
The letter, there's a letter we noticed in here.
Mhm.
It says Neodesha, Kansas. That's actually where we live.
For real?
Yeah.
That is so
That's
creepy.
creepy.
It says Rachel Vanderveer, and so I'm wondering if you know anything.
I don't
Oh,
actually
it
know
does.
anything about it.
That's
No.
a,
It does. Like, it says Neodesha.
No, not that.
yeah, that's what
Not
they.
that.
No,
We're
right
not talking
here.
about that.
It says Neodesha.
You can pull it out, yeah.
Take a picture.
Yeah, I don't know anything
That's
about
where
it.
we're
Is there more, or
That
is
is
that just one
crazy.
thing?
If there's more, it probably is in that same stack,
That's
I
a-
think.
Probably a family member.
Yeah, that one's Kansas, but
This one.
Fredonia?
Fredonia, Kansas.
That's where I work.
Oh, that's, okay, that says Ramsey on it, and that triggered my memory. We had a donation of a whole bunch of stuff related to the Ramsey family that, I think it was Edmund?
That's
One of them was mayor, but they must have had a
Fredonia,
Kansas connection, but, Edmund is out of our area, so we offered it to the Edmund Historical Society, and they didn't want all the little envelopes and things, so I just kept them to put on the table,
That is so
yeah,
cool.
since they were just gonna be trash. So, yeah, we
Ooh,
ended
this
up,
is
actually, we ended up with it in a weird way. Somebody had done all this genealogical research and stuff, and then must have died, and their family put it out at the curb. And some guy drove by and saw it and was like, that's treasure, that shouldn't be at the curb, and grabbed it and brought it to us. And so it was, yeah, it was meant for the trash multiple times before it ended up here for you guys to see. It must have been meant to be.
For real. So cool.
That is so funny. What a weird coincidence.
I know,
I'll
right?
send it to you.
I'm amazed. I didn't you noticed that too.
No, I was just looking and I was like, holy crap. Anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, squirrel. No, I
It's
get
a good
it. I do
squirrel.
that all the time. I also love to point out in this case, as you go by, there is a puzzle of the United States. And if you look, the piece I pulled, or the two pieces I pulled out there, that's Oklahoma that are in the front. That's right, especially if you're having guests with You guys are doing so good. Alright, so this room is our kitchen. Way out of the way here, so I'm not blocking anything else from that behind the gift shop counter. So aside from the gift shop, this is more or less your turn of the century kitchen. Now the floors are linoleum, probably from the 50s or 60s. I wouldn't be surprised if you recognize the pattern from an old
Yeah.
house in your history.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people do. It must have been really, really popular. I even had somebody in from New Jersey yesterday who said they had a friend whose house had this in it. I thought, wow, I didn't realize it was that far widespread. It must have been a big company. And then the sink, we think, is from the late 20s, early 30s. They put in the bathroom around 1908, and it's possible they put in a sink here then. The fixtures of the bathroom are around the same time period, the 20s to 30s, so
Where does that go?
they may have updated it. That goes upstairs, that is the servant stairs. So
okay.
it is, if you want to open it and look, they're crazy, crazy steep. You can tell there were no building codes back then to tell you how, yeah, you just gotta kind of get your hands. I think that this door hardware is from the boarding house days. It used to, I turned it off, it latches and then you can't open it from the side, and I think that's the somebody up the back stairs that wasn't supposed to be there.
Grandparents stuff.
My favorite thing in the kitchen
Oh, I do that.
is the stove has a temperature gauge on it. It's one of the earliest ones to have that, but it just tells you if it's warm, hot, or very hot, which I think is pretty amusing. And that's how your recipes would say, you know, put it in a very hot oven or a warm oven instead of,
Oh, yeah?
because you didn't have the
Yeah, they
thermometer
did
to
it with
tell
their
you.
hand.
Yeah, so this one is one of the early ones that you didn't have to do that with. That's downtown Norman. Two buildings, the most recognizable ones on the corners are not anymore, but a lot of bullets on the street. start telling you where things are, but if you're not locals, you probably don't know what's on Main Street, so that's not gonna help. But yeah, if you guys, it's a historic district, so there's a lot of the original buildings still there. Let's see, what else in this room? The cabinet next to the stove is your pie safe for keeping all of your baked goods and your leftovers that don't need to be refrigerated, that sort of thing. The tall one is a Hoosier cabinet, which was your storage for your ingredients. It would have had a bin for flour, that dispensed sifted flour out the bottom of it, pretty fancy. And then the drawers are metal lines, you can store food in them and they'd be safe from mice. And it is meant to be your workstation too, so all of your tools would have been stored in there.
Wow, I haven't seen one of these in years.
Yeah, I imagine those old ones aren't real common anymore.
Most of them went through the ceiling.
That's what I hear. I think it looks terrifying. I don't
It
know how
scared me
anybody
to
would.
death. It just blew up off the stove and went right up through the ceiling.
Oh,
I remember the whistle.
That was Sonny's grandma had one of these.
Yep.
And she used it all the time.
I'm not brave enough. I got an Instant Pot. It took me a month to get it out of the box and be willing to use it because I was scared of that. I was like, I know these are safer than like that one.
I mean, this was in the 50s, I guess. She had it that long.
Wow.
That's great.
Well, and then the cabinet that the pressure cooker is sitting on is your ice box. So that's your refrigerator there. Those little diamond-shaped cards that are inside of it on that left side, I say little, they're not little. That is how you would order more ice. You would hang those in your front window facing the street and point up however many pounds of ice you needed. And then the iceman would just drive around and look for the cards and know where to deliver ice to. And usually, especially in a house that had a maid like this one, they'd come in the back door, load it in for you. You'd never even see them.
Are we going upstairs?
Yes, if you guys are ready, we can do that. Oh, and this room back here is my office. We think it was originally an open pack. It wasn't long until maybe the 20s. But it was their summer kitchen so that they could be away from the wood burning stove in this room that got so hot and go out there where the yeah. This one doesn't have that nice little handle on the side, which is a little bit harder to use. Yeah. They also had one very similar, but it's like a little wooden stool shape on the bottom. Same sort of thing, and those are called dollies. I don't know why, but. So we can head upstairs whenever you're ready.
I can't believe it. Let's go upstairs. Oh, sorry. Did you get it? But I want to go because I want to, but I'm scared I'm going to fall. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Oh, girls.
Upstairs are less scary because they're not open. You guys are more than welcome. I know they're steeper, but for kids, a lot of times you don't have that open side. You are so lucky. We call it the turret room because we're inside the tower, so it's right.
Sorry, you guys.
The entry hall below us is also round, and I love that the wood on the windows, you can see they cut it to go back, but downstairs where visitors come, they must have seen it, because it doesn't have the cuts in it. But up here, people were less likely to see it than in family, so it was not worth it. Absolutely. This one here.
That's totally not creepy. Yeah, but it wasn't then.
Can I look?
No, you can't touch the baby. You can look at it.
What's her name?
Let's go with Barbara.
More sitting room for the ladies.
Barbara.
Mom. Mom. Mother dear.
If I could make this my office, I would. I would spend all my.
This is Barbara.
This is a ladies club.
Oh.
Trying to go under? There we go. But it shows all three of the ladies.
It's one of the old perfume bottle things.
This one with the lace shawl.
Softer. Look. One of the old perfume bottles. Yeah, that's surprising. I know what it is.
With her underwear.
That's what they do. This old movies.
This is called. Oh gosh. This is a big ring.
Be careful, don't touch anything.
She was already living in Oakland.
No, I said no.
Was
Simone.
hired to be the athletic director of the football coach as college representative. Later became UCO up there, University of Central Oklahoma. It was Central
One like that that had all those things.
something like that.
Oh my god.
You're so brave.
So this bedroom,
I'll just hold your hand right now, okay?
look at that, look how big the bedroom is. Was this always a bedroom?
Yes. Isn't it huge?
Yeah.
I don't know why. It is really unusually large for this area and a house of this size. So there's a big, you know.
And they didn't have all, they didn't have the kid, a bunch of kids.
No, yeah, the Moores built it. And they had one child who was 30.
Sounds expensive.
But the bed, the dresser, and the washstand are more family pieces. Those belong to Agnes her entire life. They actually, the family thinks this may be the bed she was born in. And she owned it all her life. When she moved into a nursing home, she gave it to her great-granddaughter. And her great-granddaughter moved into a nursing home early this year and donated the furniture here since she wasn't able to use it yet. So there's one more piece.
What's that cost?
It's like, oh, it's all right. It is an original closet, which closets were rare. Two of the 4 bedrooms have original closets, and then we also have a linen closet. There's a mannequin in there, so don't get startled.
Oh, look at that.
And it is a modern wedding dress
Yeah.
from a Valentine's thing we did, but it is a very small, or at least very shallow closet. It actually extends quite. I can stretch my arms out in either direction if there's nothing on the shelves.
Wow.
It's very large that way,
Whose
which is
dress
so
was this?
weird. I don't know. We just picked it up at a thrift store for a
Oh,
Valentine's thing we were doing.
That is
so.
beautiful.
Isn't it lovely? I know. I need to sell it, but that's why it's on the mannequin so I can take pictures.
I was
to
thinking
sell
of
it.
summer. She'd go for that.
This rocking chair is also a family piece. They think they probably brought it with them when they came to Oklahoma from Missouri. So, and it was in use by the family up until a few years ago. They recovered it probably in the 60s or 70s with that lovely orange vinyl. But
Yeah.
but let's see, we've got the dressing table over there and the wash stand with the matching chamber pot under the bed. Because if you had money, even your chamber pot was pretty.
Wow.
The embroidery on the bed and on the nightstand were both made by Mrs. Lindsay. One has been donated and the other's on the bottom from one of her relatives. And then these wreaths on the sofa behind you guys are my favorite things to show people. You guys ever seen anything like that? Any of this? There's going to be lots of babies in this room. This is her playhouse. I think this was probably She obviously had a lot of toys. They have rope beds. They were not, there was an early box spring that was available for people who could afford it. So they probably didn't have them here, but most of the homes in Norman would have had beds like this. So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty ingenious.
It really is, especially if you have to take it apart and put it in a wagon.
Oh, that's incredible.
Agnes's room, or it was a spare bedroom. I know later on, towards the end of the family living here, Daisy used this as like attic space. Her grandchildren call it the plunder room because that's where they went to find their treasures.
They're nice big rooms.
They are very large rooms. And this is a linen closet. Excuse my mess. Like I said, not tiny. And then this one.
It surprises me that
think
staff
was
was
the
on the
maid's
same
room.
level.
Yes, so it's not grand enough a home to have a third level where the staff would be, and usually that's what they would do is put them upstairs. And in the United States, it was much more common for them to be on the same level, and usually it was just the room at the top of the back stairs, if they had back stairs, that was the maid's room. So that's why we think that was the maid's room, even though it's enormous for a maid. Like they had multiple servants, but only one live-in servant at a time. So I wonder if they expected to have more live-in servants, or if they just, some companies had like a pre-designed, you just pick your design. So
Also, they decided to have a lunch room in case someone got married.
it is possible, yeah, that the Moores didn't have any children. So
I hear my
I don't know what they were up to, unless maybe they had intended to sell this to the Lindsays at some point, because like I said, they weren't here long, and they did the two families together. So it's probably just to impress people.
Grandma, do you want to sit down on the stairs and go?
Huh?
Do you want to scoot down the stairs on your rear?
No, I think I can hold
And if